What up, Vibers? It's your boy, Kai. Welcome to another episode of the Vibe with Kai podcast. In today's episode, we're diving into something a lot of us struggle with, taking care of ourselves. And I brought the perfect person to come and talk about that, the amazing Dr. Jason Branch, licensed therapist, professor, motivational speaker, soon to be author with over 16 years of mental health experience in this world. Jason works hard to help people, especially those in the BIPOC and LGBTQIA plus community, helps them heal, grow, and show up for themselves. Also, I was a guest on Dr. Jason's podcast, Three Parallels, not too long ago. Excited to have him on my podcast now to sit and talk about some things and all of that. So we're talking about, just real life self-care, no fluff, just straight up honesty. Two black guys talking mental health, no big deal. This happens all the time, right? Happens all the time. You see this all the time. Already starting there, but I want to welcome our guest today, Dr. Jason Branch, to the show. Jason, what's going on, man?
Thank you, man. Thank you. I am well. I'm even better now being on the show. Hello to all the Vibers. Much love. Thank you for being here. I'm excited, man. I don't know what's going to happen today.
You know me, like I'm in my 6th season of doing this now, seasons. And so like now it's at a point, it's like, I just like to keep it nice and chill, and whatever happens. We just kind of go with the flow, and we just have fun while we're doing it, man. You know what I'm saying? That's all we can do. That's all we could do.
I'm with
it. So I want the audience to get to know you a little bit, right? Because they know who I am. They see my face too much, probably. I want them to get to know who you are. I want to start there, Jason. I always like to start in the beginning. If somebody were to ask what you do, how would you go about describing that?
Interesting question, because as of last week, I would have had a different answer. So this week, my answer is I'm a professor. I'm a clinician, I'm a podcast host. A week ago, I was just a professor. Mm-hmm. So this change, this progression, this evolution is a constant change. And for me, I'm constantly reintroducing myself to myself first, and then to other people. So those are the three parallels, the three lanes that I'm in right now. So being a college professor in a graduate program for clinical mental health, that's my passion. That's what I love, helping people become clinicians. Being a therapist, helping people become better at being themselves. Being a podcast host, rediscovering who we were, who we are, who we're becoming. So everything that I do connects to who I am as a person, and I'm blessed to be able to do all these things.
Mm-hmm. It's awesome to see how much we can grow in sometimes the shortest amount of time. Like we sometimes will, because like even if you were to ask me like this time 2 years ago, last year even, like what position in life I would be in, and like where I am now, like I would have never guessed. I would have never ever guessed where I am, and I feel like I'm the luckiest guy on this earth. But with that being said, we kind of joked about this before, but we're two black guys talk about mental health, and I was joking that this happens all the time, aka it doesn't, right? So like, what led you to this line of work in mental health? What was the personal moment where you're like, okay, I need this to be what I do in life?
Gotcha. So I got to give a backstory to the front story. So backstory, I had no idea about counseling, please. Mental health, psychology. I didn't know a lot about it. Mm-hmm. And then I took a psychology class in high school. And I went to a predominantly black high school in Dayton, Ohio. And the psychology professor was actually the tennis coach. So he did both. He was a horrible coach, but he was a great teacher for psychology. And that's when I fell in love with the subject. Like, man, I just love learning about the brain and about people. And that just piqued my interest. So that curiosity led me to counseling. When I got my first counseling job after college, doing in-home therapy. So I'm doing in-home therapy. I'm going to people's homes, sitting on their couch, talking to them. And a lot of the clients I work with were black. They look like me. So they didn't know I was a therapist. They just thought, oh, Mr. Jason going to be here any minute. We're going to talk about our problems. They didn't know I was the therapist. They just knew this guy that seemed familiar, like family, is coming to help us. And that was it. That's all they knew. Yeah. And it was like, oh my God, I really enjoy this. I'm passionate about it. However, it's not a lot of money starting out. I felt that like, there's not a lot of money. And I had to have a conversation with myself in my higher power with me and God and ask, I love the work that I'm doing. I'm passionate about it, but financially it's not working. So do I follow my passion
Sure.
or do I follow the money? And my old self said, we're going to follow the money.
Mhm. That's what I feel like that's what most people, that's the choice that most people would make.
All day. So I started following the money towards law school. I was going to become an
Yeah.
attorney. So I'm going to go to law school. I started studying at LSAT. So as I started
Yeah.
studying at LSAT, I realized, nah, it ain't about money. It's not about money because yeah, I
Right.
could do this, but I don't want to do it. Like I felt myself changing just by studying for the LSAT. And that's when I recognized
Mhm.
I'm going to follow my passion. I don't know how it's going to last, but I'm going to put my energy and effort towards this. So then it's
Mhm.
learning along the way. How do you become a therapist? So I just learned from people, places, and things on how
Mhm.
to do it. I didn't have like a blueprint or somebody that told me. I just talked to different people who were
Right.
doing the things that I wanted to do, and I asked them. It's like, yeah, you need a master's.
Right.
Okay, where's
Right.
that? Where you get that at? I go buy one.
Right.
Like,
How do I get one of them?
how do I get one?
do
How
they
much
sell?
it
Do
cost?
they sell? Do they sell that at the store? They sell that
Exactly.
at the store.
Can I get on Amazon? I mean, is that a thing? So just ignorant, just ignorant, God, like ignorant. So just not knowing and knowing by doing. That's how I learned, just by doing it.
Sure.
So
Sure.
once I figured out, oh, you need to get a master's, okay, I'll go get one. So I went and got one. And it was during this moment, man, that was the real pivotal moment and shift for me, going back to the comments you made about us just talking about therapy. It's a really big deal for those that don't know because I was in my second year in the master's program for clinical mental health, about to graduate in less than a
Mhm.
year. And I was told from my first year, hey, as a therapist in training, you need to experience therapy for yourself. It's a great idea to go to experience it and explore it. Mind you, I've never been to therapy a day in my life. And I'm a therapist,
Mhm.
co-therapist with a bachelor's.
Right.
And it took to my last year, I finally went. And I went on campus. It was for free at the wellness center. And I drive, on campus to the wellness center. And when I get out of my car, I'm looking around to see who sees me going into this building. And then I go into the building and, they ask for my name. I put Clark Kent. I didn't even put my real identity. Like your student number doesn't match the name. It's like everything okay. I mean, I was in hiding trying to go. And I finally went in the
Mhm.
office and it was a Black woman therapist. I was shocked. I was shocked because I didn't even know
Yeah.
Black women did therapy besides the woman that was in my class. That was
Yeah.
trying to get her master. So I just
Mhm.
wasn't aware. And I sat and talked
Mhm.
to this woman like I was talking to Oprah. And I I gave
Mhm.
her me.
You sure it wasn't
And it
Oprah?
was
It might have been Oprah. It might
it
have
might
been
have been
actually
baby
been
Oprah.
Oprah.
It may have been baby Oprah. I don't know. I don't know. But that moment was when I recognized number one, dang, I really need therapy. Like I really started to see me
Mhm.
and different things about myself. And then the other side is, oh my God, I'm a student learning to become a therapist, and I'm terrified about what people think about me going to therapy. That's when I recognized how
Mhm.
powerful the stigma and stereotype around mental health and mental illness was, is when I was impacted by it. So at that moment, I decided
Right.
I'm going to dedicate my life to this. And that moment, over 15 years ago, led me right here with you to have this conversation where it's okay
Mhm.
to talk about it because during that time, it wasn't. So I feel like it's a
Right.
full circle moment to get here where we can openly talk about it because we're shifting the narrative around it. And I'm thankful for the opportunity to do just
Right.
that.
Right. Right. You wear so many hats. Like you were talking about this before. You wear so many hats. Therapist, speaker, professor, author, podcast host, you name it, you do it. So today we're talking all about self-care. So
Mhm.
how do you practice self-care when you have all of these roles that are on your plate? Because I know that there's a lot of people that are watching or listening right now that just have so many things in their life that they have to do, even if it's not specifically jobs. It's just things like, I have to be a mom, I have to, do stuff at work, I have to do the laundry, I have to do this, I have to do that, I have to, do all this stuff. They have to wear a lot of hats in their life. So how do you personally go about self-care when you have all of these responsibilities in your life?
Okay. All right. So there's two levels or two layers. You have the external layer, then you have the
Hmm.
internal layer. And for me, I had to do work on the internal layer first in order to do the external work. What I mean by that Every
Right.
word that we use has a meaning behind it and a meaning that we give to it. For example, if you or me decide we're going to do something for ourselves, and I'm sure the old version of you can relate to this as well, we would say, or people would
Mhm.
say it was selfish. We may say it ourselves, or other people may say it,
Yes.
and that gives a negative connotation to it. So therefore, I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to take care of me because I don't want people to perceive me to be a certain way. That's internal work because that's a
Correct.
belief. These are not facts, it's a belief. So I had to check me internally to recognize taking care of yourself doesn't equate to being selfish. That's not real. That's a belief. You're not
Facts.
entitled to that. These
Facts.
are facts.
Factual
These are facts.
information. Yes.
So I
Yes.
had to
Mhm.
do the external work, meaning I no longer say the word selfish because I can't change the negative
Mhm.
connotation of this word that we all can identify with. So therefore, I use a different language. I say, I'm putting myself first, period. I'm
Mhm.
going to take care of me first. It
Mhm.
doesn't mean not going to take care of you. I'm not going to do this or that, but I can't do those things without doing me first. That's how I'm
Yeah.
able to do it.
Yeah.
That's the first part. So that's internal, external. The next is what many of us suffer from is unhealthy boundaries. Hey y'all, with your unhealthy
Facts.
boundaries.
Mhm.
Hey y'all, talking to the
Yep.
listeners and the
Mhm.
viewers. Hello
Yep.
everyone. This is
I tell
us.
people all the time, like, setting boundaries is not, it's not pushing people away, it's protecting your space.
All day. And that's a different
Mhm.
mindset that you have
Mhm.
to know that, where you
Mhm.
don't feel guilty for taking care of yourself. That's work. Kyle, you done been
Mhm.
in therapy, bro.
Mhm.
You done been in somebody's office.
Every man, the things that I've learned from my therapy, like, this is the things that, like, and here's what's great about therapy, and I'm sure you do this too when you're working with your clients. The best part about my therapist is that it's not her just answering my questions, right? It's her helping me answer my own questions,
Come on. Yes,
right?
indeed.
uh and like, that kind of thing, it helps me learn faster. It helps me realize that, like, I'm not broken. Like, I have the capacity to process in a healthy way. I have the capacity to live a healthy life mentally. And I think that sometimes people forget that, especially, and I want to talk about this specifically in the Black community, and this actually goes with a question that one person in the chat just wrote. She wrote, "Why is it so difficult for people of color like myself to be open to therapy? Why do you think it's okay to deal with too much like it's normal? What are your thoughts on that? Why is it so difficult for people of color to be open to therapy?"
Man, that's loaded. And I'm talking about baked potatoes, sour cream,
Mhm.
bacon, chives. It's fully,
Absolutely,
that's a fully loaded question.
get some cheese
Just
on there too.
gotta have the cheese. If we don't have nothing else,
Yes,
we gotta have that cheese on it.
got to throw the
So
cheese on that loaded baked
yes,
potato. Come on now, it's not loaded unless you got it.
man, we're not gonna finish this show. So we're not gonna finish.
Now I'm all hungry and
So
stuff. Now I'm
so
hungry.
so that's it's a loaded question, and I like to simplify
Yeah.
complex things. And to me, the conversation around culture, community, blackness, and therapy is historical. We can go all the way back to ancestry to where we are now. And
Mhm.
there's a lot there. There's a lot to unpack that we don't have time for. I wrote a dissertation on that. I don't even cover
Right.
the surface. So my
Right.
idea, my
Right.
thought, I like to simplify, and the simplicity around it is facts versus beliefs. That's it. That's it. The
Mm.
reason more Black people don't go to therapy is because of beliefs. What are the beliefs? Whatever I was taught and told growing up, whatever I saw in the church, whatever my
Yes.
mom or dad
Hmm.
did or didn't do. Those what led to the beliefs. My dad told me, we don't do therapy. We do church. We do God. We do work. We do, go out there and do this. You're not depressed. Go in there and depress them dishes. So if that's what I was taught,
I just got
if
so
that's
triggered. I just got, it's like,
see what I'm talking about? See what I'm talking about?
oh man, because
You've been
that
there.
was me. Even,
You've been there.
like,
You've
especially when
been
our parents were
there,
like,
right?
you gonna cry? I'll give you something to cry about. I'll
All
give you
day
something to cry
long.
about.
All day long. So that's the messages we received our whole life for
Yes.
17, 18, maybe
Yes.
even 20 years of life. So that's what we know. So then when we're out here,
Hmm.
we're definitely not talking about it. We're definitely not going, we're not asking about it. We're not asking for help. What we're doing is working harder, working more, and helping more others more. So we start to deplete
Mhm.
ourselves
Mhm.
thinking it replenishes us because the feeling, not recognizing that's external and not internal. So many of us are full externally, but
Mhm.
internally we're empty.
Right. Right. Yeah, and I think what's important is also because right now it's June 3rd, right? And it's Pride Month, and I know you work a lot with the LGBTQIA plus community as well. Can you talk about the importance of self care for the LGBTQIA plus community, especially during Pride Month right now?
Okay. Thank you for this segue because specifically within LGBTQ plus community, sometimes the boundaries suffer the most because it's usually in extremes. I'm going to completely cover and
Mm,
bury myself, steal, like nobody has access, not even me. Or the complete
hmm.
opposite, where I'm super vulnerable. I'm like a turtle outside of a shell. I'm out here naked and afraid, and I ain't talking about a TV show. So
Right.
when
I know.
we're in
Right. Hmm.
when we're in these
Hmm.
extremes, it makes it hard for us to be present and to set healthy and effective boundaries. So I love analogies, and how I look at analogies when it comes to boundaries is like you're building a brick wall around you. But for many of us, that wall only goes
Hmm.
up to your knees. So anybody can just step over and be right in
Mm,
your face. So being
hmm.
a member of any marginalized community, it's how do I bring my barriers up to cover me where I can decide who has access and who doesn't. So with Pride Month, it's bringing a
Hmm.
lot of awareness, and awareness works both ways. Ooh, God, we finna go there. It works both
Mm.
ways, meaning
That's not even look, you preaching. It's not even Sunday today, and you preaching.
I just want to talk about it. I just want to talk about it. Because that awareness is on so many sides, again, that we don't think about
Yeah.
because it still relates to beliefs and facts. So for some people, they
Mm,
believe certain things about certain people that's part of different communities and cultures. It's just a belief, it's not a fact. But that I can believe
mhm,
something so long that it becomes a fact to me, even when it's not. So if I know that about other
mm,
people, then I need to make sure my boundaries and I'm protected for those who are with me and those who are not, because I get to decipher who's who, not them. I do. So I know who's for
right,
me. I know who's an
right,
advocate. I know who's
right,
an ally. I know who's a ride or die. And I know who's wearing a mask. I know
mhm,
these different things because I know myself. So for me, for
right,
anyone that
right,
that's managing this space, you have to figure out who you are, not who you were. Embrace who you actually are and make room for who you're trying to become. That's it. Because that's the only
absolutely,
person that I can control or
absolutely,
change. These are facts.
absolutely. Yes, and I think that a lot of times when people think of self-care, like, they'll think of, like, bubble baths and candles. Not that there's anything wrong
Oh,
with that, because that
oh,
sounds quite lovely. Sounds lovely. However, it can be a lot deeper than that, right? Than just bubble baths
yes.
and candles, right?
Yeah.
So what are some self-care what are some ways self-care can actually look both, like, boring and or messy, but still powerful? Like, what are some things that people can do from a self-care perspective that's not necessarily just bubble baths and candles?
I'm glad you brought this up, specifically bubble baths and candles, because because that's it's the
Get that
norm.
bath
It's the
bomb, get that bath bomb ready, you know?
right, right. So it's the norm. So a lot of us do our normal routines that we've done our whole life when it comes to self care. And to me, that's an issue
Mhm.
because who I was in high school or college is not who I am right now. So those self care practices that may have helped me then may not help me now. So again, the
Right.
theme is the same. I need to figure out who I am and what I like when it comes to self care. Because,
Yes.
and I want all the vibers, I need y'all to write this down. To
Mhm.
me, based off of my
Write it down, get
belief,
that pen.
come on. My belief is
Mhm.
self care is whatever you say it is. It's whatever you say it is. So if it's me sitting at the house watching Netflix, eating a roll of cheese, vibing out, listening to my
Say it
own
louder for the
self
people
for
in the
my
back. Louder, louder for the people in the back. Say it louder for the people. Get closer to that microphone and say it louder for the people in the back.
it's whatever I say. It's whatever I say. So whether it's big or small,
Yes.
it's what I say. It's what I believe. And for me, again, it's the internal and external battle. So many of us are doing the bubble
Mhm.
baths and candles, but not getting our cups filled. They're not being filled because they're not sustaining us. So it feels good. I smell good, but I'm still over here depressed, and I'm gonna go depress these dishes. That's not. That may not be it.
Yes.
It may not be it. It may not be it. So how can I do more that actually sustains me, where I can do it every day, every minute, I can do it whenever. It doesn't cost me anything. And again, I love simplicity. So how and this goes back to a previous question we're putting them together, how I uh, practice self-care with all the things that I do is I'm able to compartmentalize self-care. Meaning, every day I can't go on to Dubai or whatever. I can't do that every day. I can watch it on YouTube. But that's the thing. If I can't go, then I can watch it. So therefore, it's small, but it's big. And these things, whether small or big, fit into 4 quadrants only for me: emotional, spiritual, physical, mental. That's it. ESPM. So I developed this ESPM model for self-care during my master's program or right afterwards to start finding strategic ways to fill my cup. So if you think ESPM, those are 4 different cups. That my emotional is my heart cup. Spiritual, my soul or my spirit cup. Physical, my body cup. Mental, my mind cup. So I find activities that I choose to do that works for me that counts for every cup. The great thing about this is once I use something for 1 cup, say for instance, Netflix and cheese, that takes care of my emotional wellness, but I can't
That
use that
sounds
for
like a
anything
Tuesday night,
else.
my friend.
Come
Sounds
on.
like a Tuesday night.
Come on. Come on. Yes, indeed. Let's go. So that take care of my emotional, but I still got 3 other quadrants to consider, you know? So therefore, I can't do the same thing. I need more. So therefore, what do I do for my spiritual wellness? For me, music. Every day I'm listening to music. Hip hop, R&B, gospel, trap, it don't matter. Music. Because it uplifts my spirits. That's self-care to me.
Right.
Physical, taking a
Right.
walk, drinking more water than vodka, just choosing, just choosing what I consume physically, because we're always consuming.
That's what I have in this cup right now. This is not tea. I have the little tea bag here. It's actually it's whiskey. It's straight up whiskey.
That's brilliant. That's freaking brilliant.
And it tastes
That's
delicious.
brilliant.
Jameson.
Because this is the thing.
Jameson tea.
God, I promise
No,
we might be family. We might be family, Kai.
It's tea.
Because now I can add the tea bag so nobody has questions. When it's a tea bag in there, you don't question.
Nobody's
questioning.
You're not going to question.
But with this, choosing fierceness, people may question. It's in there. So
I can't.
So going back, the physical,
I love it.
Drinking more water. What am I consuming? And then mental, what am I choosing not to consume? When I think mental, meaning knowing how to say no, knowing, Barbara, you can't come to my office today. You talk too damn much, Barbara. Mama, I can't babysit today. I can't do this. She does all the time. So even news media or social media, choosing when I consume or being able to give rather than try to consume anyway. So for me, that ESPM is what I use every day to practice self-care. And it's simple. It doesn't have to be these extreme things. So every day I find a way to fill each cup. Therefore, I've took care of my self-care for the day. Period, point blank.
Right. That's but you know what? Here's the thing, Jason, that there's going to be people that are listening or watching, and I'm sure you get this too when you're talking to people, and they're going to say, listen, that all sounds great, but I don't have time for self-care. I don't have time for that. I don't have time because I have a job, I have kids, I got, shit I got to do, whatever it may be. Right. So to the people right now that are watching or listening, that are like, listen, doctor, you sound great when you said it. Sure. But I don't have time for that stuff. How would you respond to that?
I would respond by asking them, is that a fact or is that a belief? That's where I'm going to start. 2 + 2 is 5, 2 + 2 is 4. The difference between these 2 equations, one's a fact, which means it could be proven. The other is a belief, which means it can't be. So therefore, you're entitled to it, but that doesn't make it law, real, fact. So if I don't have enough time in the day, how is that possible if we all get the same 24 hours? I just want to talk about facts. If I don't have enough time in the day, that means I'm giving away something I don't have, which is my time. So I'm doing above and beyond for everybody and their mama because I believe I'm supposed to. I want to share another fact. In my opinion, this is my belief. You are not responsible for anybody you did not have. meaning birthed. So you're responsible for that person that you birthed. Outside of that, you're not responsible. We choose to be responsible. We choose to take care of everybody. So that's why I don't have enough time, because I'm spending so much time taking care of everybody, being Superman. I want to talk about facts about Superman. Okay. Is it okay if I cuss? I'm feeling the spirit over here. Is it okay?
I need you watch your fucking language. Come on.
Okay, cool. Just want to make sure we're in this. I just want to make sure I'm in good company.
You're fine.
I don't know. The Vibers may
You're
be
fine. You're
squeamish. I
fine.
don't know. Okay. So I just want to talk about
They're
facts,
fine.
right? The
Yes.
Superman mentality, right? We all wear that cape and we don't take it off. What I know for sure to be a fact, because Superman is real to me, Superman got a full-time job. He works at the Daily Bugle, right? Daily Planet. He's a journalist.
Daily Planet, yes.
Daily Planet.
Bugle Spider-Man.
Thank you. Get me together around here, okay? Get me together. So he works full-time job. He takes PTO to go save people, and he can't save everybody. He can only save who he can, and who he can is within a certain vicinity. So Superman can only save those in Metropolis. So if you live in Gotham, you're fucked.
Yeah, especially if it's during the day, because Batman only works at night. Batman works at night. So do your crime during the day. If you're in Gotham and you're listening, do your crime during the day. Don't be so obvious about it, and you'll be all right. You'll be fine.
That's it. And good luck. Bruce Wayne might be with Elon them this weekend. I mean, who knows? Who knows? So again, I want to talk about facts. So Superman takes time off work to save this woman, brings her down to Earth, leaves her, and he goes home. And y'all know the home is the ice cave. The ice cave is actually the fortress of solitude, where he kicks back with a six-pack.
Don't call it the ice cave.
But it's fortress of solitude. I got to give it to two different listeners. Two different listeners, right? You know, some listeners.
That's fair. You're right. I got you.
So I want to talk to everybody. So he kicks back with a six-pack.
Because you're talking to a nerd. I got literally 10 comic books racks right to my left over here. So
we can nerd out.
You know.
We can nerd out. You in good company. You in good company. So he kicks back with a six-pack, rubbing his toes together, shooting socks off, watching TV, right? After he saves somebody. But what do? We sneak off work, because we're working extra early and we stay extra late. We sneak off work. We go save this person. We stay there. We're knocking off the soot, the dust, and everything, the blood. We bring in other people around. Hey, let's help this person out. And everybody's helping. His hands on deck until the next emergency. And then we go save that person and the next person and the next person. And we don't save ourselves until life almost catches us, where we lose life. And the loss of life to me is when you lose the freedom to choose. Meaning, man, I don't know what came over me, but I was so sick. I was so heavy. I was so tired. I just took off work and I just stayed in bed. That's when life lets you know. Your body lets you know. Your mind can say whatever, but your body will always let you know. So if I choose not to rest, my body will rest me. And for many of the listeners and viewers, I want you to ask yourself, is my weekends for relaxation or is it for recovery? That will let you know where you stand. So I will challenge everyone. Again, we talk about beliefs and facts. Superman is real to me, and he's black. So therefore, I'm just talking about facts. If we don't have a quarter,
we're talking facts.
Just talking facts. If I don't have a quarter of what Superman has, what makes me think I can? What makes me think I can? My beliefs is what make me think that. So that's what I would say. We all get 24. It's what we choose to do with them. And I feel as though there's some people that don't deserve 100% of you. They'll be okay with 10%, 15%, 25%, 50%. They'll be okay with it. But you don't know that because you never given them that. So guess what they expect? 100%. That's why you don't have enough time. So I can do this all day, but I don't want to take up the rest of the show talking about facts.
No, it's perfect. But here's the thing on the other end, right? So you have the people that are like, I don't have time for self-care, right? But then you also have the people that want to try to do this, that want to try to practice more self-care, but they just don't know where to start. They don't know where to begin.
This
right?
Is good.
Because they're just like, okay, that all sounds great, but how the heck do I do this? So for those people, the ones that are listening or watching that want to take action and practice self-care, but they're not sure where to start, where can they start?
Start within. You see the theme over and over again, start within. Meaning every day I would challenge everyone listening, every day from today moving forward, I would challenge you to do something new, different, and or uncomfortable every day. And as you
Mm-hmm.
do that along the way, you will discover what you like, what you don't like.
Mm-hmm.
So for those who don't
Mm-hmm.
know what to do, think about the things that you want to do, but you're afraid to do. I met a client
Mm-hmm.
once who wanted to do yoga for years, wanted to be a yoga instructor for years, and never went out of fear that I might fart and I can't afford that. Straight up.
Mm-hmm.
I can't afford it. I can't afford the embarrassment.
Understandable concern.
I can't afford it.
Understandable concern,
So
because
for
I can say that
years,
because I've thought about that. I've thought about that. I'm
see,
like, I can't do that because, like, what if it's just like a little, what if like a little poop comes out and like everybody turns around and looks at me? I'm like, I'm sorry, I had a cheesesteak today. Like, what do you want me to do?
exactly. It's a real thing. It's a real thought. It's a real thought. It's a real belief. And it could be a fact, but I'll never know if I don't go. I'll never know if I don't
Mm-hmm.
go. And that simple thought that I
Mm-hmm.
shared with her, I'll never know unless I go, gave her enough courage to reconsider going. And she started to create
Mm-hmm.
different thoughts of what could happen. I said, is it possible you could burp in the session? She said, yeah. Is it possible you may not fart at all? Yeah. Is it possible other people may fart with you? Yeah. So we're just talking about different options outside of
Yeah.
doom, gloom, death, and destruction. Because if those are the only options I have, that's the
Mm-hmm.
only thing I'm looking for. But why would I look for something that I don't want? Versus, let me try something I
Mm-hmm.
never had to receive something I never experienced. So for the vibers, and I want to
Mm-hmm.
talk to some vibers specifically, I'm going to step on your toes. I want you to know this now. If you are a
Please go
person,
right ahead.
thank you. And now I got permission. I'm definitely finna hit you in the head with a honey
You got
bun.
permission.
So to the vibers who's never had sushi before and don't like sushi, this is for you. Because a lot of people say what they don't like and they've never tried it before. If that's you, this is how you find out who you are, by experiencing and not thinking your way out of things, but thinking your way into things. But it's not about thinking, it's about action. So whatever you're afraid of doing, do that. And if it's too big, if it scares you too much, do the small things. An example of a small thing: brush your teeth with the opposite hand. Paint your fingernails, paint your toenails. That's for the men and the women, right? Shave your hair off. Wear a collar shirt instead of a button down. Wear your shoes on the wrong foot for a minute. You know, just do something you never done and see what happens. And once you find out by doing these things, something happens and I experience something from it, that will change your life forever. I admire and love the people who love sushi because they tried it, not the ones that hate it because they think it's bad. Those my people. Hey, vibers.
I
Those my
I
people.
I I hate sushi. I hate sushi for one specific reason. Because I'm
And that
allergic.
there it is. There it is. There it is.
I did
And you
try
may
it, and
and
I
you
and I
tried
almost
it.
died.
Hey, but you
And I died
learned.
almost.
But you
I
learned,
did
guy.
learn.
You
Oh,
still
I
you
learned all right. I learned what I'm not putting in my body no more.
there it
My body
is.
was like, nope.
There it is. And now you know. And now you that's facts. That's facts. You have facts now. You have evidence now. And that's for many of us, we don't look at the facts and the evidence because we're too caught up in the beliefs, because the beliefs connect to our emotions. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
Mm-hmm.
I just can't see
Right.
things any other
Right.
way now. So it's us. It's on us. And I
Right.
want to challenge
Right.
people to do things you never done in order to receive things you never had. As I mentioned, the three parallels: who we were, who we are, who we're becoming. So if I'm going to say who I
Mm-hmm.
was, I do the same thing. If I'm going to challenge myself to do differently as I am right now, I got to be open to receive. I got to be curious. And then becoming a better version of
Mm-hmm.
me is doing the things that I feel moved to do, but I'm afraid to do. So the whisper that
Mm-hmm.
you hear of all
Mm-hmm.
these things: go get it, go get this, go get a doctorate, and quit your job and divorce your husband, whatever these small whispers, is your future you that's healthy, that's waiting on you to catch up. So whatever that rumbling is your truth, in my humble opinion.
So where what role does community play in all of this, right? Because, like, yes, it is self-care, but self-care also can mean asking for help too,
Mm,
right? So
mhm.
where does community come into play here?
Community is all in and outside of self-care. Because if you think of any self-care
Mm-hmm.
practice, you're going to connect with people. whatever it is that you're doing, in some capacity, you're going to connect with people. Here's an example. As I mentioned,
Mm-hmm.
spiritual. In order to pour into my spiritual cup, I listen to music. And I'm listening to music that
Mm-hmm.
so many people all over the world is listening to at the same time. That's my community. Don't let me go to a concert. That's my community. Don't let me consider
Mm-hmm.
therapy. They're going to refer me to all these different types of people. That's my community. Don't let me go to church. Wherever it is that you go, whatever it is that you do, you can build community or you can attract community. Because think of what you've attracted with the
Mm-hmm.
community that you've built. So that community is connection to people, places, and things. That's how I view
Mm-hmm.
community. So if I'm in a place that no longer values me, that no longer serves me, this isn't the community for me anymore. And many of us have outgrown people, places, and things, which means we need a new community by becoming a different version of us to attract new people, places, and
Mm-hmm.
things. So to me, community is
Mm-hmm.
everything. 'Cause
Mm-hmm.
who are we without
Right.
it? What's culture without it?
Right. 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 What about taking risks? Right. So like, because like when I was thinking of like when as you were talking about trying things, to realize whether you like it or not, like those little things. There's also like some like I guess joy slash I don't even know how to describe it, but just like thrill seeking chances that you can take. Like for example, I've gone skydiving, right? And I was frightened, but I'm glad I did it. And I actually learned a lot about myself in the process of
Good.
falling 3,000 feet from the sky. But does those risk based joys and stuff like that, does that fall into mental health self-care as well?
Absolutely, absolutely, and I'm so glad you brought this up because what you just shared with the skydiving experience, by you doing that, you became a different person that you couldn't have become without
Facts.
that
I really
experience.
did. I really
Exactly,
did. I'm a complete like the Kairos that you're talk that that went skydive that didn't go skydiving yet is a different Kairos than the Kairos that you're talking to right now. Completely different.
exactly.
It only took that 1 hour and it changed my life.
That's real. That's not. These are facts. All right,
Hmm.
these are facts now. So
Hmm.
to me, that was
Hmm.
that can be considered extreme. Depends on who you ask. Because to me, I did the same thing. Again, we may be family, so it was life changing for me
Hmm.
as well.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
so part of this shift is once the mind expands, it never goes back to its original form. So once I become exposed,
Hmm.
educated, experienced, or be mentored related to a person, place, or thing, that changes me forever. Forever. Here's an example.
Hmm.
So the vibers, because I love the energy. I feel the energy. I really do. You giving it off, they giving it off.
Yes, they're
So
all. Listen, I've been reading through the chat as you've been talking, so they're all on board. Trust me,
I'm with
they're
it.
they're
I'm with
listening.
it. So we finna take it to the
Yeah.
next level because I want this episode to be life changing. That's my intention. I want people to shift from
Hmm.
listening to this. And here's a big shift
Yes.
because unless you know, you don't know. Has anyone ever heard of Kope Luwak? Put it in the chat. Have you heard of Kope
Kope
Luwak?
Luwak.
Kope Luwak. I'm finna put you on
Kope
too, Kyle.
Luwak.
Kope Luwak.
No, I never heard of that. What
Got
is that?
you. This is so good. I'm having fun. Okay. Kope Luwak is a coffee. It's an exotic coffee that's really expensive and only sold at different custom coffee shops around the world. And it can cost
Okay.
you $100, $200 for a cup. It can cost more for a bag, up to
For one
5,000
cup?
for one cup. Yes, indeed. Yeah.
I do like coffee. My guy, I don't like coffee that much. I
Exactly.
don't like coffee
Exactly.
that much.
Everybody doesn't.
What
But
is
if I
it's Starbucks? You're saying this is still at Starbucks? That's some Starbucks
no,
prices right there.
you will not find it at Starbucks. You will not, you won't even find it in the back at Starbucks. You won't find it anywhere in Starbucks. So
How do you spell it? Because I want to put it in the chat. Can you spell that?
let me make sure I get it right. I do not want to give false information out here.
Mm-hmm.
Give me just a moment.
Okay. Yeah. Copa Duoc.
So
You said
it's KOPI
K O P I
LUWAK. KOPI
L
space
U W. Mm-hmm.
LUWAK. Kope Luwak. So
Okay.
boom.
All right.
Now you finna get all the love. So it's very expensive. Um, but the what makes it exotic is it's a civet cat in Indonesia that eats these certain berries or cherries and they defecate. and they take the defecation and they filter that, and that's what they create the coffee beans with. It creates a very signature aroma and sweetness naturally, but it's from freaking cat
That
poop.
sounds like shit coffee, doctor.
It's
That sounds
shit
like shit
coffee.
coffee is what it
It
sounds
is
like to
shit
me.
coffee. But I heard it was the shit. I heard it was the shit. I heard it was the shit.
Quite literally.
Right, literally. So my point in bringing this up, Kai, I'm glad you're enjoying this right now. I'm glad you are enjoying this. My point.
Oh, man.
I told you I didn't know what was going to happen. I told you I didn't know.
Oh, and I'm excited to see where this goes. Please tell me about this shit coffee.
So with this shit coffee, for you, including the listeners, it didn't exist before June 3rd, 2025. It did not exist. To you who didn't know about it, it didn't exist. But now it does because you're aware of it. And now you've been exposed to it, and you also been educated about it. You know it's expensive and it's the shit. You know that much. So therefore, for the first time in your life,
shit, all right.
It is the shit.
It is the shit.
We're not gonna get through this. We're not gonna get through this show.
Oh, man.
Okay. I'm gonna get it together. Okay.
Oh, man.
Ooh, I'm trying to finish, Kyle. I'm trying to finish, man. I'm trying. I'm really trying. Okay. So
listen, this is all your fault.
Okay. So now, real talk. So now, for the first time in your life, you're in a position to try it if you wanted to. You could try it if you wanted to.
Mm-hmm.
And now you can go find out where it is. But a few moments ago, you had no idea it existed in life. But it always has. It's something that's been around. That's an example that I mean by when you're willing to do things you don't normally do, stretch us out your comfort zone intentionally, not accidentally, but intentionally. That's how you discover things that you may like. I've never had Cope Luwak. I don't plan on having it. But if it's presented to me, I would probably try it. I would. Why? Because I'm the shit. Why not drink the shit?
You know what? I'll have a cup with you. I'll have a cup with you.
Okay, we the shit.
I will have some cup with you.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yes, and
that's what I'm talking about.
And no, I was gonna say something. I'm not going to. Nope.
Okay,
nope.
Let's leave.
We'll keep it going. We'll keep it rolling. We'll keep it rolling.
So my point in all of this is to share that this is just an example of one thing, and that one thing can open so many other doors. Now you and I are going to be in Indonesia having coffee, talking about this stuff because we can now. We couldn't do that before today, but we can now because we're a different version of ourselves right now. A version of yourself that knows about Cope Luwak, which you didn't know a few moments ago. That's how quickly we can change. You've been exposed. Your listeners been exposed. Now there's going to be some of your listeners that's going to try it. I hope you ask them, hey, how was it? Was it the shit? So, because we just did a commercial for them.
Listen, they might try. One person wrote, do I need to bring the toilet paper? Is what they wrote. Oh, that's funny. And somebody else wrote, but I want to meet the person who was the brave soul that discovered that shit coffee.
Exactly. Who was that? Who's the founder? Now I've never seen the founder. I never know who the person who started this. But yeah, it's a thing for a lot of like wealthy people, a lot of celebrities and entertainers. They have this on, on auto every month. They're getting the bag every month. Because it's still coffee, it's just you don't need much. You can drink it as is and it's fine. But this is a part of some people's self-care habit. So self-care practice. It doesn't have to be a habit, but it's a practice. So their practice is every Saturday, I do a little coffee and chit chat. I call my mom, I call this person, I make calls and I drink my coffee. So again, you have to design what self-care looks for you, and whatever you're doing that doesn't fill your cup. You need to create the thing that does. Because again, going back to the bubble bath and candles, that's surface based, but some more internal stuff could be going to therapy for the first time. Going to therapy for the first time could be a way to practice self-care because it's maintenance. For me, I've been in and out of therapy for
Right.
years based off of my evolution. So therapy is a form of self-care
Mhm.
for me. Journaling is a form of self-care.
Right.
Staying away from negative people is a form of self-care.
Right.
Energy vampires, it's self-care.
Right. Right. Mhm. Absolutely. Do just to kind of like switch up a little bit because I'm curious of
Yeah.
your thoughts on this as a therapist.
Yeah.
Obviously, since 2020, a lot of people have been taking advantage of virtual therapy, right? Me
Hmm.
being one of those people, and I personally think that it's great because now people are able to go to therapy that may not have been able to access therapy before, because of means, resources, maybe, they just were not able to do it because, they have nobody to watch the kids, whatever, you name it,
Yeah.
and all
Hmm.
that, right?
Right. Right.
But like your practice, if I'm not mistaken, is 100% virtual. Am I correct?
Correct. Hmm. Yes.
Right. There's some people that argue that, quote, real therapy can't happen online. I don't believe that, but there are
Mhm.
people out there that say that. What are your thoughts on virtual therapy versus, quote, real therapy?
To me, this is such a great question. To me, again, therapy is whatever you say it is. Here we go again. Therapy
Mhm.
is whatever you say it is because some people have been seeing their therapist for 20 years and they laughing and playing. They're not working. That's therapy to them. But to
Mhm.
me, you're paying for a friend.
Right.
That's that's to me
Yeah.
though. I look at therapy differently as a therapist. And for me, as a therapist, I look at therapy as going into the basement dealing with your stuff. So to me, the
Mhm.
modality provides a different experience, but it doesn't mean it's not of value. So whether it's in person,
Mhm.
because we have preferences. Like there are some clients that don't want to work with me because they have a
Mhm.
preference of working in person. That's fine. I'm not a good fit for
Mhm.
them. And there's clients that enjoy the flexibility and freedom of being able to meet on video in their car, at home, in their closet, whatever. So it's the modality. And then some like BetterHelp and Talkspace using a real therapist that's virtual, but you don't ever see them. You may hear them, you may
Mhm.
get some type messages, and then you have the next modality with AI tools. It's similar, but it's a different experience. So to me, as long as you get it, I don't
Right.
care how you getting it, because you'll start off getting what you want and then discover what you actually need. So to me, like
Mm.
therapy
Mhm.
through AI is getting wants met. But sometimes the need is emotional, and you may not get a lot of that. You don't get any of that emotional connection through AI that you get from a human being.
Right.
We haven't gotten there yet. I mean, I don't know what's going to happen, but we haven't gotten there yet.
Right. Right.
So that emotional
Right.
connection, that human touch, that human experience, it's different than the bot experience, but it's still an experience. So
Mhm.
no matter the modality, it's still an experience. And to me, if someone chooses to use AI for therapy because it's private, nobody knows, it's secure, amen. Good job. Job well done. Keep
Mhm.
doing what works for you until it doesn't, and then do something else until it doesn't, and then do
Mhm.
something else. Because to me, nothing is forever. Nothing lasts forever. So I would love,
Mhm.
I admire the fact that somebody would start with Chat GPT for therapy because they're 50 years old and never considered it. Now I got this robot. I'm gonna talk to it.
Mhm.
Cool. Cool.
Right.
Eventually, you
Right.
may talk to
Right.
me, you
Mhm.
may not, but it doesn't matter because it's your journey, it's your experience. So, who am I to say what works for you and
Mhm.
what doesn't? I'm not you, and I've never been. So, as a therapist, I don't
Mhm.
judge, I don't shame, I don't try to create a divide over modalities. Even with psychiatry or psychology, there are different modalities that serve the same purpose to help, to support, to enhance,
Mhm.
to evolve. So, to me, as long as you get what you need, go get it. And as you learn more about
Yeah.
yourself, go find what fits you and outgrow. Allow yourself to move away from people, places, and things that you've outgrown. And sometimes you can
Mhm.
outgrow your therapist. You can outgrow Zoom call. You can outgrow AI. You can outgrow these things because you're evolving and you may need more. You outgrow relationships. You outgrow marriages. You
Mhm.
outgrow jobs. You outgrow shoes, freaking shirts. You outgrow
Mhm.
everything. So why would this be any different?
Mhm.
Last thought is I
Right.
do feel as
Right.
though AI is the next wave, and we either run with it or get ran over. We get to decide. And I feel like this uproar is very similar to anything new for our society. The last new thing that I can remember that caused
Mhm.
an uproar was Uber. When Uber came, folks lost their
Oh,
mind.
okay. Yeah.
Lost
Mhm.
their, I'm not, oh
Mhm.
my God. Now you can't live without
Mhm.
it. To me, it's no
Yes.
different. It
Hmm.
was the same thing with social media. I'm not finna be followed. You're not following me. Now I need more followers. Everything
Hmm.
changes. Everything
Which
evolves. Go
and for
ahead.
the
Go ahead.
and for those of you listening, they're like, I'll follow him. He sounds cool. I'll in the description of this podcast episode. I'll be sure to include all of his handles, not just for him, but also for the Three Parallels podcast, so you can not only follow him, but listen to the podcast as well. Because I think you're going to get something out of it. It's like if you're listening right now and you're like, oh, this guy's pretty cool. I think you should check out his podcast. This is who he is.
All day. All
This is
day.
who he is for sure. Um, I wanna wrap up with a couple of things here because I think it's important. First and foremost, thank you so much for your knowledge and your insight. This is not the last time that you'll be a guest on the show because there's just so much to talk about, and we just have too good of a time. You know what I'm saying? Um, you you talk about who you are becoming, right?
Mhm.
How is Dr. Jason Branch practicing what he preaches right now when it comes to who are you becoming?
Oh
How are
man.
you yourself practicing what you preach?
Whew. Phew, where I'm gonna go with this one? It's heavy. Baked potato, man. Loaded baked potato with
Go
all the
for it.
cheese.
Go for it.
Okay.
Loaded baked potato.
So full transparency, I'm in a constant state of evolution. And for me, like I said, last
Mhm.
week I was just a professor. This week I'm a professor, a therapist, and a podcast host. I don't know who I'll be next week or the week after because I don't want to know. I want to experience. So for me, every day
Mhm.
I'm curating experiences for myself and others in order to grow, to evolve, to enhance, to become a better version of me. Because as I mentioned before, if I'm doing things new, different, and uncomfortable, that requires all versions of me to be present. And when all versions of me are present, that gives me an opportunity to connect with them. Here's an example.
Mhm.
Man, this is heavy. Uh, and I'm fully transparent. I never shared this on this large of a scale, but I have to
Mhm.
because this is for the men and toxic
Mhm.
masculinity and the idea and identity
Mhm.
around what it means to be a man. I just want to talk about facts and beliefs. For a fact, if we were
Mhm.
to interview 100 specifically black men and ask them what it means to be a man, we would get 100 different definitions. These are facts.
Mhm.
So therefore, whatever beliefs I was taught and told about what it means to be a man is just that, a belief, which means I can create new ones. So I got two boys at home, 2 and 4. And about a year ago, I did something really extreme and I did it again this year. And coincidentally, it's Pride Month as well. So what I've done is something I've never done. For me, when it comes to self-care, I would never say manicure, pedicure because it felt feminine. And me growing up with
Yes.
toxic
Mhm.
masculinity, any certain color that equated to femininity equals I'm gay. And I can't be in these streets with people thinking I'm gay as a straight man. So
Mhm. Sure.
that's who I
Mhm.
was. That's who I was. I didn't wear a pink
Mhm.
shirt till I was in my 30s. I just want to talk about it. I just want to talk about
Mhm.
it. And
Yeah.
today, I got all 10 of my toes painted and they bright red. They shine brightly.
Mhm.
And you know why?
Yeah.
Because it requires me, and this is the second time I've ever done this in my life, because it requires me to become a different version of me to reconsider what I actually thought. So the first time I did it, it was a shocker. Oh my God, it's all these different things. And I'm going to Target on purpose. I'm walking around to see what people will say or do. Nobody said a damn thing. Nobody gave a shit. Nobody gave a damn. So
Mhm.
I
Mhm.
did it for, a couple of weeks, about a week or so. And then I did it again recently because I'm in transition to become a better version of me. So I pushed myself even harder and did a bright red on my dogs. Now, dogs are feet for those who don't know. So I'm in I'm in the chair. And instead of saying foot detail and hand detail, they ask, pedicure, manicure. I said, yes, I want a pedicure and I want a manicure. I want deluxe. Give me everything, all the bells and whispers, and send me a few color panels because I'm gonna paint my toes. And they was like, what? Like everybody in there. It was like an uproar because I'm the only man in there. It's an uproar. Oh my God, he's painting his
Yeah.
toes. That's the response. Nobody said it. That was just the energy. So I put them on. I walk out
Mhm.
and I'm feeling uncomfortable as hell, even though I'm a married man with 2 kids. Ain't nothing threatening around, me and sexuality. But that's my belief from when I was a kid. That toenail polish, fingernail polish equates to being gay, facts and beliefs. And
Mhm.
I've been
Sure.
wearing this. this polish for about 3 days, and I haven't turned gay yet, like at all. Like, no, no, I'm not attracted to a guy. Like nothing has happened. I'm not growing things. Like I'm still a regular dude, and nobody knows unless I want them to
Yeah.
know. So here's fast
Yes.
forward, better me, healthier me. I got to talk about it, and this is purely authentic, and I'm sharing it with you all. Everybody don't know. Um, when I went to the gym this week, intentionally, I'm going in the sauna. I'm walking around to start a conversation. The old me is thinking they're gonna call me this, they're gonna call me
Mhm.
this, and this, that. And I said, that's what I believe. I've never done this before. But if I'm doing this thinking about the future version of me, I'm going to find out by doing the thing. And I did it. And guess what? Nobody gave a shit. Nobody cared.
Mhm.
Nobody
Mhm.
said or any of the
Mhm.
things that I thought they would say. And when that moment does happen where somebody says something, like, why would you do that as a guy? My first thought, because I'm thinking ahead, is
Mhm.
if I didn't do this, I wouldn't be able to have a conversation with you right now about what I did. That's
Mhm.
why I
Mhm.
do this. So you ask that
And it's
question.
helping people.
It is. It is because it makes you look at
It's helping
things
people.
differently all day. It makes you look at things
Mhm.
differently. So for me, as
Mhm.
a straight man with I have some negative views about homosexuality, which is why I'm an advocate and ally now because of who I used to be. And learning so many
Mhm.
clients, people have taught me about the LGBTQ plus community. How dare I not stand? How dare I not paint my nails? How dare I not?
Mhm.
Because I'm a part of
Mhm.
all
Right.
communities just like we all are. And the community is humanity. It's humanity. That's the
Mhm.
community because we all hurt. We
Mhm.
all bleed. We're all disappointed. We have things that happen to us. I don't care
Yes.
who you are. We all have it. It's the reason that you're
Mhm.
listening right now. Somebody helped you or they didn't. That's why you type with Kai. That's
Amen.
why you're here. So to
Amen.
me,
Mhm.
I'm a living example of this is what it means to become the best version of you. And I'm talking about HER, all caps, not the R&B singer with the guitar. I'm talking about him, HIM, all caps. I'm talking about them, THEM, all caps. I'm talking about us. I'm talking about people, man. So how can I help you if I'm not, how can I push and challenge and encourage you if I'm not doing it myself? Man, I'm 10 toes down, literally, and they all red.
I can't
Let's
with you. I
go.
can't. I don't even
Let's
know. You
go.
can't. I can't even follow that up, my guy. Like that is like whether you realize it or not, Jason. Your vulnerability, and your courage to even tell that story, uh, has helped more people than you've probably realized. Probably that you'll ever even know. There's going to be somebody that listens to this or watches this that it's never going to reach out. It's never going to say anything, but like we're, your story affected their life in a positive way. And that's how I live my life. I go every day. I gave a talk at a high school earlier this week. And I was, they were talking about like numbers, like how many followers do you have? Blah, blah, blah. And I kept telling them, listen, I have this amount of followers, but guess what? I don't care how many followers I have. My goal is to affect at least one person in a positive way every single day. And if I can affect at least one person in a positive way, I win.
Yes.
Like, who
Yes.
cares how many followers I have? It
That's
doesn't
true.
matter. What matters is that I can use whatever platform I have to just help maybe save one person or help validate one person's journey, and it all becomes worth it. All the work that I put into it, it becomes worth it because it's just like one person that feels a little bit better now, and like that makes it worth it. And so your story goes a long way because you're affecting, I know at least one person. You're affecting me in a positive way.
Mhm.
Lord knows how many other people that you're affecting as well. So I appreciate you. I appreciate your courage. I appreciate what you're doing for the mental health community, what you're doing for the Black community, what you're doing for the LGBTQIA plus community. Happy Pride, everybody out there. Happy Pride. Live loud, live free. Be you, and be proud about it for sure, 100%. And thank you, honestly, for just coming on here, being just a wealth of energy and love and all of that. Like honestly, like I said, we were joking about it before, but like two Black men talk about mental health on social media
Yeah.
is not a thing
Yes.
It's not a
Yeah.
thing that happens at all, so
Right.
it feels great, to be able to talk about that and to talk about shit coffee, like that kind of stuff. you know like that's what it's all about.
Yeah.
That's what it's
Yeah.
all about. Oh my god. My friends, thank you so much to Dr. Jason Branch for joining me today and for sharing so much wisdom, so much heart, and real talk about self-care and his journey, and so on and so forth. If you want to learn more about Jason's work, his therapy practice, anything that he's doing, you can go to drjbranch.com, or you can visit him on Instagram at dr.jasonbranch, or check out the Three Parallels podcast. I'm going to include all that information in the description of this podcast episode. So all you have to do is click and check it out. Trust me, if you enjoyed this podcast episode, if you enjoy listening to him here, you're going to enjoy watching him there as well. And listen, if this episode spoke to you, I would love to hear from you. Drop me a DM, share some of your self-care wins or struggles, whatever it may be. Tag me, uh, DM me, email me, whatever it is, let me know. And if you enjoy this episode, please make sure that you leave a rating or review. If you're listening on Spotify or on Apple or anything like that, leave a review and be like, hey, this guy's pretty cool. Or if you're on Facebook right now watching, you can also leave a review on my page itself and be like, hey, this guy's pretty cool. And all that. I would really appreciate that. With that said, thank you again, Dr. Jason Branch, for hanging out with us today. Until next time, everybody, make sure you go be kind to yourself today because you deserve it. As always, go be awesome. As always, much love, good vibes, and I will talk to you later, friends. Bye. See you later.